Hey guys and girls. I want to make that clear. When I say guys, I mean guys and girls. So what I want to talk about this week is a big topic, actually. So my dear friend, Julie, I don't think you'd mind me saying who you are, she had left me a little message saying about the challenges of moving through our 40s and 50s, etc., and the changes that our bodies go through and how we deal with that, how our self-image really gets challenged, how we start to try to figure out, well, I used to be able to do this and now my body's changing, and it can get very confusing for us. So here's a couple questions that I want you to really think about, okay? Do you deal with or even suffer from things like irritability? So not just the average, but you really feel like you're getting more moody, or depression even if it leads towards that, or weight gain. You're finding that the weight just keeps packing on. I can't seem to get it off. I seem to have to work even harder to keep it off. Muscle loss. So do you find that you're losing muscle? Yeah? Or sexually, is the libido lower? Or possibly even that you're dealing with some kind of, in general, sexual, what we'll call dysfunction. And then what about your hair? Is there hair loss going on? Are you getting hot flashes? Are you getting night sweats? Things like memory loss or lack of cognition. You don't seem to be remembering things as well, or you're having a harder time thinking, in a sense. Insomnia, so you're spending more time at night awake than you are asleep, or you're finding that you're having bouts of during the middle of the night, maybe between 1 and 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you're wide awake and you can't go back to sleep. Are you experiencing deeper fatigue? Not just being tired, but you just feel fatigued all the time. The body's kind of almost in a state of deeper fatigue, almost exhaustion all the time. Your energy is low, or even lower than it's been. And then even things like changes in the chest tissue. So here's the thing. Everything that I just mentioned, most women are going to go, well, yeah, isn't that menopause? But guess what? Those are the exact same symptoms that us guys, men, go through in what is called andropause. So I want you to know, women, you are not alone. Because whether it's menopause or andropause, all of these symptoms for both men and women are so similar, because it's a decrease in, for men, testosterone, and for women, progesterone, and even more importantly or significantly, estrogen. And so when you have a drop in those hormones, the same symptoms can arise for men and for women. Now, having said that, yes, all women, I think that's clear to say, all women go through menopause. Now, some have a more challenging time with it than others. Now, the difference between, and menopause is, I think you're okay with me talking about this, yeah? Menopause is when there is a complete loss of having your menstrual cycle for a year. That's actually when we say you are in menopause. Perimenopausal, when you're moving towards menopause, there's a lowering of estrogen and progesterone, etc. There's an imbalance, and so your cycles will sometimes be inconsistent. Sometimes it'll be heavier, sometimes it'll be less. That's perimenopausal, and you're moving towards menopause where there's a complete drop-off of estrogen and your cycle stops. For men, andropause, it isn't that every man goes through it. There is always, or almost always, a drop in testosterone. This is very normal, and this starts in our 20s, by the way. Just depending on the person and their lifestyle, and what we'll talk about, what goes into those factors, how much or significantly does the level of testosterone drop causes more significant issues. Does every man go through it? Not really. At the level that we would say women all go through menopause. Yeah. So, but I can tell you that to a greater degree, it's very common, and it's getting more and more and more common now for men to be going through more significant levels of andropause, that drop in testosterone, and all the signs and symptoms that both men and women deal with when there's that drop in hormones. Okay, so that's what this topic is going to be about this week. I'm going to break it up into men and women and what we both need to do, because we both have these amazing bodies, how they differ, but really so similar. So even though guys, we don't talk about it a lot, and women, yes, this is why I think women are so incredible, is they are much more open to being able to share and express the challenges they go through, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally, whereas guys have to be more stoic, or at least we think we do. We have to be stoic, and we can't talk about that, we're having challenges with energy levels and all this other stuff, and it happens. So we're going to talk about not only the physical aspects of how the body changes and what you can do about it to slow down or lessen the effects, because there is quite a bit you can do on both male and female sides of the coin. Yeah. But also we're going to talk about, as Julie had mentioned in her message, that our self-images take a huge blow. So I'm always, especially if you're listening to the podcasts of Holistic Health, Vibrant Life, that's the podcast I do every week, or if you're reading the blogs, I'm very much talking about what we're going to talk as your self-image, your ego, your paradigms, your belief system, the person you think you are, is just a bunch of beliefs that are being held on to. And so we've all developed this conditioning of believing certain things about what we're going to say is ourself, who we believe ourselves to be. And so when we start going through andropause, when we start going through menopause, and our energy levels start dropping, our hormonal levels aren't giving us the same as what they used to in our 20s and our 30s and even our 40s, we go, what's going on? I'm not the same person anymore. I can't do what I used to be able to do. I don't have the energy. I don't have the oomph. I don't have the libido. I don't have the on and on. My hair is falling out. My hair is getting thinner and crackly, and my skin, and right, all these things start happening for both of us, men and women, remember? Then our egos take the brunt of that. And again, your ego is just your self-image. It's who you believe yourself to be. So we're going to talk more deeply about that, because what I want you, both guys and women, I want you to truly start understanding is that no matter what is happening to the body, no matter what is happening to your finances, your relationships, your lifestyle, no matter what is happening, that is just what we call the external circumstances, the surface level of your life experience. You are not the life experience. You are life itself. But if you continually associate yourself as the life experience, as the body, and as what we think of as the mind and our thoughts, you're saying, but this is me, and it's happening to me. I don't like it. If that's what's going on, that is only the self-image that is doing that. Because the body, please hear this, the body is okay if it's getting older, if its hormone levels are getting lower. However, the ego, the mind, the belief system, that's what's having the challenge. It's saying, that's not what I'm used to being. You're changing everything around. This is why we have challenges when a relationship ends, because we're still associating ourselves as having that other person as part of our life experience, and we're going, but that's who I was, and now it's not there, and oh my God, what am I going to do? Right? It's the same thing with the body. It's the same thing with your finances. It's the same thing with your career or where you're living. When there's a change, the self-image compares it to what was and says, is that better or worse based on what I believe? And if it's in a sense worse, which is just a judgment, then that's where the emotional challenges come in with the self-image, saying it's very hard for me to be dealing with that I'm getting older. But the body is not having a challenge with that. The body's changing, but the body's not saying, oh my God, I'm not what I used to be. It's a normal stage of life. So we'll talk a little bit more about this. I would really love to have your input on this. I'm perfectly open all the time to hearing what you have to say. If you're having challenges, let us know. Send a message below. Let me know. Now listen, if you're going to send a message that says, you don't understand, you're a guy, you don't... My goodness, what can I say to that? Well, I do understand, because I'm 55 and my hormone levels have dropped. I do a great deal to make sure that I'm very healthy and I keep my hormone levels up, which I do a really good job at. However, I'm not as strong as I used to. And there's certain amounts of fatigue that come in through the day where I never used to have those. That's why a lifestyle that creates health and fitness and well-being is so wonderful to keeping your hormone levels up. And remember, last thought, hormones are what we call neurotransmitters. So neurological transmitters. They transmit information through the nervous system that goes up to your central nervous system, your brain, and then back out to the rest of your body to work with the other organ systems, etc. So hormones are incredibly important. There is a great deal that you can do to keep your hormone levels up and optimal, no matter what age you are. And one last thought. Because of what's going on right now in the world as far as lifestyles and how we're living and the amount of stress that we're under, or the amount of stress that we're taking on, we're seeing hormone challenges in kids literally in their teens and their 20s now. And they're going through and dealing with serious hormonal issues with low testosterone, low estrogen levels, challenges with pregnancy, challenges with impotence, etc., which really should not be there. But because of the lifestyles, because of how they're living and the food they're eating, the garbage food they're eating, etc., which we will get into and why that's an issue, what we call endocrine disruptors, now it's literally more of a plague than what used to just be something that happened as we got older. So you're not alone. And so if you're in your 20s and 30s, or if you're 40s and 50s and actually moving through this, what we call change in life, which is actually can be a very wonderful thing, I want to be able to hear from you. So please don't hesitate. Now listen, if you feel it's too personal to talk about in an open forum, then send me a private message on Facebook. You know, up in the top where it says message, that's a private message, so no one will see that except for me. Or you can go to our website, holistichealth-fitness.com, and then go to the contact page and you can send me a private email at david@holistichealth-fitness.com. It'll be right there on the contact page. Or you can pick up the phone and call me. It'll come right to the studio and I'll answer the phone. So there's many different ways that we can have this conversation without anybody knowing. If you want to stay anonymous, that's perfectly fine, okay? So I look forward to this week. Please, please, please send me your questions. Send me your challenges. Let's talk about this. Let's keep this open because we're all going through it. It's okay. It's really okay, guys. You're okay. You're okay. I'm okay. Okay? So until tomorrow, where we're going to go even deeper into this. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to talk about, I think I'll talk about the causes of that, maybe go into more of the symptoms, and talking about the nutritional aspect of why if you're not eating well, you're actually causing a lot of these hormonal declines. All right? So until then, this is Dave. Take good care of yourselves, and remember, I'm coming in. I love your guts. Take good care, guys. Bye.